Well, good morning or good afternoon if you're in New South Wales or Victoria. Welcome to Cracking the ROI Code. I'm really very excited to share this with you. I've spent the last couple of months really refining these ideas, and it's all about finding the highest ROI over the course of the last decade of consulting and the previous decade and a half of running my own software and technology business. I was only really interested in the numbers. Obviously, I love sales, love strategy, love that stuff. But what's really turns the cogs and turns the business over is that knowing that your advert or your piece of work is creating a return. So at one stage, I got to a point in my businesses where I was running an advert in every single newspaper, every single industry magazine, going to every single conference and expo across Australia and New Zealand. I went to every one of those, and I knew exactly how much I was going to spend and how much I was expected to earn. And with our Google adverts, we got pretty good. We changed a word, reduced that cost by about 40% of purchases. So it takes a bit of science, takes real skill to be able to crack the ROI code. I'm going to give you some broad concepts here today, but also give you the tools, the ideas that are really working for us and our clients right now. So this is going to be an action-packed 45 minutes. I'm going to make sure that you're given the chance to ask questions at the end. If you want to hit me up, if I say, hey Matt, hey, I'm happy to send you this. Email me if I forget, put a comment in the section saying, hey, remember you wanted me to send this over, and we'll just get cracking. So let's get started onto the webinar. So first of all, let's make sure that we're in the right place. Who's this webinar for? So it's for heads of software and technology companies who have a product they want to scale. Scale is sales and marketing, strategy, sales and marketing. I'm not talking about infrastructure scaling or anything like that. I'm talking about just the front end. People typically buy from us when they've solved a problem, they've got a product, they're delivering it successfully, and now it's time to put the foot down on the front end of the business. So they have a product they want to scale sales-wise. They need to generate more leads and close more sales. Seems pretty obvious, but there's lots of businesses out there who are almost at that capacity. And if you're almost at the capacity and you can't cope with more deals through the door, this webinar is not for you, because I'm going to give you a bunch of inspiration, a bunch of tools and scripts and ways of getting more traction. And I don't want to break your business, or you don't want to break your business. And the third one is business owners who know that the most predictable and reliable way to grow their business is through a well-executed sales and marketing plan. Look, referrals are great. I talk about referrals a lot. We love referrals. What we need to make sure of is that we are augmenting that. That is, if that's our only strategy, we've potentially got real issues, simply because you can't control it. You say, I want 20 more referrals today, or I'm going to spend X dollars and get Y return from referrals. Doesn't work like that. So I'll talk about that and what you can actually do to augment that. It's definitely part of the strategy, just augment it. So what we're going to be talking about today is maximizing your ROI on marketing activities. There's nothing more frustrating for business owners is when their marketing activities are not yielding the results that they want to yield. Second of all, we're going to maximize your ROI on sales activities. Sales activities, we want to make sure that the sales conversations you have are based in and on a reality, and asking questions, asking hard questions of the client, asking questions that almost seem like you're asking them to say no to you, because you need the customer to come forward. Because if they're not coming forward and you're always pushing, then they're going to be on the back foot. And if the customer's on the back foot, they're going to feel like they're being sold to. It's too markety. We don't like it. Leave me alone. And they'll reject an idea just straight out of principle, rather than whether or not it's good for their business. And maximizing ROTI, R-O-T-I, return on time invested. This is I guess a philosophy that I learned from when I was CEO of Velocity Selling. That's a North American-based, Canada-based, but also North American-based sales training organization. We had some very, very large Fortune 500 companies in there. And we talk about return on time invested, and specifically for sales activity. You've got to cut through. You've got to make sure there's a meeting of the minds in a sales and marketing environment, and that's what encourages a customer to come on board. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. First of all, well, who am I? Who is this guy? Well, I'll just give you a quick brief. Some of you already know who I am, which I very much appreciate that you've come here for another webinar. Obviously, hopefully I'm providing some value, or at least some entertainment. So, so I started my first tech business when I was 22, grew that to a reasonable level of success. We broadened that to, we had about 30 software developers building custom software. This is really early days, about 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And so in doing that, we were able to generate a pretty good sized business, doing about for ourselves 10 million a year. And of course, the customers of those technology products were also growing quite well. I sold some of the businesses off, downsized, had some kids, and we moved to Bali. I took a year off and then came in Bali, and then came back. And for the last 10 years, I've been consulting to software and technology businesses, only in the strategy, sales, and marketing part. Look, I can talk about finance, I can talk about operations, but it's just not my wheelhouse. I'm not great at it. I can offer ideas and I guess hints towards the strategy piece. Oh, well, this is how we would build ongoing support structures, but those support structures are always in support of the goal for me, which is more revenue. I'm of the belief that we can solve most problems with more revenue. I'm sure that's not, I'm sure there's going to be a McKinsey person out there arguing with me, but, most of my customers, if they just bring in more money, onboard more customers, they can solve almost any operational issue. All right, so that's me. So about, as I said, 25 years doing it. What I'd love you to do is grab the question box. This is the time in which you need to interact with me, or I'm just sort of talking to the ether. Grab the question box and let me know what industry you're in and what do you do. When you say function, are you a programmer? Are you a salesperson? Are you in marketing? Are you an entrepreneur, business owner? So what industry are you in and what's your function, just quickly. And so just grab the Q&A box and drop that in there, please. And while you're doing that, I will move on to the next slide. Okay, so thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. Oh, Mark, I saw your email. I've been pretty busy, but I'll definitely do that. Mark's got a great new platform over there in New Zealand. I'm pretty interested to talk to him more about that. So thanks, Mark. And Mick, mining and construction, knew that. Sean, no, thank you very much. Software startup. Murray, what industry are you in? So we've got business owner, cybersecurity. Hey, cybersecurity is hot. We all know that. We know the government's going to start bringing in those rules around the Essential 8. We know that there's going to be some challenges and lots of businesses are going to be exposing themselves. That's why I'm getting my security clients to really push on that stuff right now. So it's a great time to be talking about those types of things. So look, software dev. Thank you very much. Okay, very cool. Okay, restaurant. All right, interesting. Look, we've got a whole range here. Recruitment. Okay, well, recruitment's hot. If you look at the LinkedIn and you look at the adverts that are out there, there's lots of people. That's a real growing sector because human capital is a huge gap in the market for lots and lots of people. Look, thanks very much, everybody. If I haven't got to you, so Nidhi, yeah, so the chat doesn't work. It's the Q&A that needs to work. Software developer, great. Awesome. Lots of great interactions. Thank you very much for that. So the reason I'm asking that is because I'm going to tell stories. And if I can tell stories based on somebody's business here, I'm going to sort of give you that one-on-one consulting or one-on-one idea right away. So obviously, software and security and those types of things I know lots about. The reason I bring this slide up is it's all about ROI. If you look at Jackie Jones on the third one along there, she's talking about how she only focuses on prospects. This is the second paragraph, who will be successful with our software, and we know how to handle those that don't quite fit the mold. And what that did is actually Jackie was out there. She was selling to American universities, like really pretty cool business. Way we do is a SOP, standard operating procedure manual, and she's selling to universities overseas. So she's up at 2, 3 a.m. Sort of making herself available at whatever time that the customer wants her to be, and they were unqualified or not ready, or just so we created some structure around those early sales and marketing conversations to make sure that the conversations she did have were way more qualified and those people bought way faster, because more qualified speedier sale is pretty much the dream of almost everybody, I reckon, in this group. Okay, so let's carry on. We've got what we're going to be talking about today is we're going to crack the code, the four main impact areas. And these four main impact areas, if you do something within them each day or each week, you are going to drive greater levels of revenue. And that's really what we're here to achieve here is greater levels of revenue. Let's carry on. So the four key areas, if you've seen my presentations before, you know that I talk about these. These are the culmination of 25 years of being in software and technology. I've brought them together, given them my own little, I guess, fresh spin. And then, but inside this today, I'll be talking about how we can identify ROI opportunities. So first of all, we start with target market. Knowing your target market, you shouldn't be selling to everybody. Everybody is not your market. The faster you can go far deeper with, the more narrow you are. Think about a speedboat. Think about anything that goes fast. It's narrow and cuts through. And the more narrow you are, the more niche you are, even in software development. If you've built tools, if you've built libraries, IP, you can productize, monetize those pieces of IP, and you can then also say, we help X to do Y through Z. If you can answer we help X to do Y through Z, we help, in Mick's case, we help mining companies manage their people through better technology. I've just made that up, Mick, not sure. But there's, I hope I was pretty close then. So you get the idea. So, I'm a mining company, because nobody wants a generalist. They want a specialist. They want, you've got specialized skills and you're available. So that's your target market. And I'll show you how to generate the greatest ROI from that. There's a tool. It's already out there and you've probably already got it. Circle of influence. The more people that know you, the more sales you'll make. Simple as that. It's obviously, if George Clooney, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Brad Pitt, any of those guys, Margot Robbie, if any of these people decided to get in competition with you today, they will sell more. They might not be very good at technology, but more people know them. Now, I'm not saying engage influencers. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm talking about is how big is your circle of influence, who knows you and who knows what you do. That is a massive key. So you've got to get out there and advertise more. And when I say advertise, there's a whole range, and I'll take you through the highest ROI way to do that. The third thing there is your relationships. Your relationships with your target customers is absolutely paramount. You need to be known, liked, and trusted. You need to demonstrate your capability. You need to demonstrate to the customer that you know what you do. And the last part is your offer. You need to ask them to engage. Leads are leads. If you just got an email address that's not really a lead, or a phone number is not really a lead could be defined as somebody you can contact. But in reality, a lead is somebody who's engaged with you, who's downloaded your thing, taken some action, filled out your form, joined a webinar, whatever it might be. That's an engaged person who actually is interested in what you've got to say. Okay, so let's keep going. So your target market, clarity is the key. Think about your top 5 client organization and what makes them ideal. What makes them ideal? Why are they good? Now, you've noticed here that I've not put, are they paying you the most? There's a number of times where I walk into a business that's, a small business trying to break the chains of their current reality of, a couple of $1 million a year or $1 million a year. They're trying to break out of that. They're just bumping up against it. They've got one client who's 40, 50, 60% of their revenue. And that's a real threat. That's a problem. That's not, yeah, we've got a big client. We've got a tiger by the tail, happy days. That's fine. But if you don't actually have a lineup of other customers, and if they're not a great and easy to work with, I've worked with a company a little while ago. They had a giant organization as their 60% of their revenue. And that company was a real pain in the backside for them. So we had to change the way that the company interacted with them. We had to completely change how they operate. And by doing that, we made the client's customer way more profitable, way easier to work with. And overall, we then found other deals because we focused on finding other deals and fixed up that balance of power there. So what is it? What are the characteristics of a customer? Then I want you to build that out. Here's what building it out looks like. Here we are, 5 organization names. Take a screenshot of this if you like. I will send you the recording if you ask for it. I can even send you this form in an Excel format you can fill out. Do this with your company. Don't do it by yourself. Do it with your senior leadership team. Organization name. What do they have in common? Vertical, size, location, complexity. Complexity as in like publicly traded or not. Why they chose you. These are your existing customers, not your future customers, your existing customers. This is about finding new revenue, high ROI right now. Why they chose you. What event triggered the need? Now, this is a really cool thing to do. This also generates massive ROI. I recommend this. Every single client do this. Every single time I come on board with a new business, we're able to find new revenue because I ask the salespeople and the business owners to call their existing clients and say, "How are you going?" And just have a general conversation, have a conversation about what their future plans are, often in software development, often in managed services, often in certainly in security. What does the next 12 months look like? What are your strategic plans when it comes to 12 months? And the business owner might not have an idea. They're just not bumbling along. They're running their own business, probably very successfully, but security is not a high priority until they realize that actually security is absolutely paramount importance, because if they get that wrong, the government can go after them. They can have fines. They can be sued by their client. It's real bad. So if you want to talk to, so that's why we have that conversation. We try to bring those things forward and talk about what the next 12 months looks like. Certainly, if you're a software developer, some of you are software developers here, get on the phone to your last 20 clients you build software for, say how you're going, ask them what's next, what does the next 12 months look like. I guarantee you will generate revenue from a phone call. That is the highest ROI thing you can do today, this afternoon. Competitors you beat, you've got to know who you're up against. And of course, vulnerabilities now. Be real, get your team together, get your service team in the room. Where are you vulnerable? Get your salespeople in the room. Where are you vulnerable now? Salespeople hear it. Service people hear it. They might talk to their managers, the managers talk to you, and then, or as an owner, and you might be missing some of the sharp edges of those conversations, and people leak out the sides of your business, and that's where you lose, because recurring revenue is important. Have those conversations with your customers. Now, if you don't know what the event was, call your customers. So get on the phone to your customers. Highest ROI thing I can tell you to do in this section. So where are your customers? You know what? They're on LinkedIn. Almost 1 billion people, 200 countries and regions worldwide. They're your customers, and you've taken from the previous slide all of the name, rank, serial number, vertical, all those types of things. You've put it into LinkedIn. You've used Sales Navigator, and you've found them. Complete and active LinkedIn pages have 5 times more impressions and interactions. Your skill might be very unique. You might be a very unique. You've got a certain combination of skills. There's 40,000 skills on LinkedIn. If you can't find your skill on LinkedIn, maybe you made it up. So there's 3 new members every second and 63 million companies. Quick question. Who's got the most followers on LinkedIn? Is it the person who started LinkedIn? Yeah, who is it? Anybody want to guess? You probably, anybody? I bet it's not a TikToker. Scroll down. Apple. Yep, almost. What's interesting about that, James, is it's not a company. Bill Gates has 34 million followers and Richard Branson has 16. And the point I'm making here, James, is that people are more interesting than companies. I want to say that again. People are more interesting than companies. So therefore, your personal profile is the key, is the beachhead. That's the thin edge of the wedge. Yes, you should be posting on your business page. I've had 500 people who follow my business page, and I invite people to follow it every month. And if you want to go follow it, that'd be fantastic. I have almost 12,000 people who follow me personally. Okay, so it's definitely part of my strategy, obviously, but you will find nowhere near the number of followers on your business page as you do your personal one. Your personal profile matters. LinkedIn is about people. It's about networking. Businesses don't do business. Businesses, and the other thing I want to say, businesses don't buy things. Businesses are vehicles for humans. Humans do business. Humans buy things. And that's why I like to think about, yes, we're all sucked into the world of B2B selling or B2C selling. I want you to think it's human to human, H to H selling, H to H marketing. Call the customer out. Have a conversation. And also write your emails as if you're writing it to one person. Nobody stands up on a soapbox and reads an email out like a proclamation in the square in London. It's not how it works. Write your emails, write your marketing materials, have a customer in mind. I have a customer in mind when I write my emails. You would have seen the one today I sent. Said, hey, James, what are you doing at lunchtime? So it is really one-on-one. Now, I did that en masse. I sent it to 2,500 people, but it feels like I sent it to one person. I even got a phone call from somebody who said, "Oh, sorry, Matt, I won't be able to make it. My flight's been brought forward." So, so the better you are at writing emails and better you are interacting as a human, not as a marketing company or a software company, the better you're going to be. All right, let's keep going. Your target market, LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Here's the ROI. So actionable tip. I've given you actionable tips. Take screenshots. I'm going to go ahead and give you these things as well. But what I want you to do is make sure to use Sales Navigator. It's $100 a month or $120 a month. Do it and connect with your stakeholders. Oh, I was on a call with LinkedIn because we do a bit of advertising. We got invited to it. The statistic that the lady said was that the more connections, I think if you have more than 5 connections inside an organization, the more, I think you're twice as likely, or 80%, you're twice as likely to actually make a sale. So if you've got one person in the business you're trying to sell to, find their contemporaries, because they're going to walk down the hall. Oh, hey, what are you up to? What are you up to, John? Oh, I was just communicating with this guy named James, about software development. Oh, I've heard of him. That's all you need. It just reinforces that person's idea. So connect with other people in the organization, connect up the chain and down the chain. Because, and when I say down the chain, don't just go with the CEO. CEO is not your customer. The CEO might sign the checks or approve the purchase order, but the CEO is too busy to worry about your better, faster, cheaper solution. So you need to engage with the right person and then move up and down and around the organization like that. And if they've heard of you, if they've seen your content, if you've got stuff going out there, you're more likely to make, twice as likely to make a sale. That's your tip. Look for people and influencers. Do they follow Mark Bouros? Do they follow the Shark Tank guys and girls? Who do they follow? Follow them as well. Comment on that. Communicate with them. Actionable tip: test and measure your outgoing messages. I changed my outgoing message about at the beginning of I think July. And I went from a 25% acceptance rate to a 43% acceptance rate. Imagine being able to put 43 new people into your database every single week. So 43, 38, 46, 37. Of course, the last one is 18 because we haven't given it time to come through. And it's simply the wording. So if you want the wording, those exact words, hit me up on email or DM, please. And I'll get that across to you. So I just changed the wording. My outgoing message is the same message. I've been doing 100. So look how consistent that is. 80, 100, 100, 100, 100. It's about consistency. And every time I'm inviting them to be part of my LinkedIn newsletter. Another way to do that, and I'll talk about that in the next section, is LinkedIn newsletters. Very high ROI, cost me $100. I have outsourced people running my LinkedIn. We also do outsource LinkedIn for our customers. So if you want to know about that and how we can create consistency there, once again, hit me up with a message. We'll write we'll write everything for you and just run your LinkedIn and start generating you these new contacts every single week. All right, let's carry on. Your circle of influence. This is the second one. We've already talked about how we get your target market. And everything sort of molds into the next. There's no clear delineation between the two, but it molds into the next. We've gathered all of these ways of connecting with people, and we're connecting with them. 43 people a week, fresh new people who are happy to have a conversation. Who knows you and what you do? Simple as that. There's only 3 ways: one-to-one, one-to-many, referrals, and word of mouth. Look, whole businesses survive on referrals. Make sure you use referrals. I love referrals. If anybody wants to give me a referral, I'll happily take it. So please do. Sorry, I did not scroll down earlier. Sean, you don't count because you've seen this that webinar before. Sean was part of my LinkedIn webinar. I actually did a webinar for clients, and a whole webinar, 4 days of just how to use LinkedIn. Once again, hit me up for an email and I'll send you a link to that. Personal brand is critical. Oh, Gunnar, great to have you here, Gunnar. Look, Gunnar is a master at using social selling. Used to work at I think it was HubSpot, not HubSpot, Hootsuite. Gunnar, I want to talk to you after this about how we might be able to collaborate better and do something together. I think that would be pretty cool. So Sure. Yeah, it's fair. Sure. I get to call you out and you don't get to talk back to me. All right, let's keep going. The only reason you don't have enough sales is not enough people know about you. Thank you. That's the end of the webinar. If you just know that, then you know everything you need to know. Okay, maybe not. That's not true. But you get what I'm saying here. The only reason you don't have enough sales is not enough people know about you. So what do you do about it? Get more people to know about you. Here's a few I've prepared earlier. So I've put them into 3 categories for you. Screenshot this. I'll send you the email if you like. One-to-one, one-to-many, referrals, and word of mouth. I've highlighted a couple here because it's all about ROI today. One-to-many, advertising. Let the algorithm find your clients. I think I've misspelled that. Oh, well done, Matthew. So let the algorithm find your clients. It's always the way. I always do my best spell check after I hit send. And the second one there is email. Email is king. For 25 years, email has been the most successful, highest ROI activity I do and my clients do. Build an email list and communicate with them. That's it. Now, there's lots of other ways you can do it. Referrals and word of mouth. There's a whole bucket of that. I want you to think about these things. Let's post free social media content. Action drives attraction. Attention is the commodity we're talking about here. Who knows you? All right. The next part, your relationships. So your relationships are all about who do people care? Are you engaged? Do they know, like, and trust you? Are you relevant? Are you regular in their inbox, on their news feed? Decision makers and influencers, well, do you know what makes them tick? Do you know what these people makes them tick? Let's get into it. Have you considered their jobs and the criteria by which they're judged? You might have a buyer profiler. We work, we work with project managers, or we work with this type of person. You know what? If you're working with project managers, hey, I'm thinking of you, Mick. If you're working with project managers in the mining sector, or actually you don't work with project managers, you work with technical service managers, or you work with these people. Go find a job description of the person. The last two people you sold to. Go find a job description on Seek. It'll be there. The business is going to give you so much information. They're going to tell you their education level. They're going to tell you how they're judged. They're going to tell you what their experience should be. They're going to tell you their KPIs. They're going to tell you everything about the person. Now you can write really great copy directly to that person. How good's that? You're getting somebody else to give you not just the name, rank, and serial number, but the exact how they're measured, their KPIs. It's really great. So go to Seek right now, find your last couple of people that you sold to, find their job titles, go and look at Seek on their job titles, and I guarantee you'll have greater levels of insight into your customers than ever before. That is a free thing you can do, highest ROI thing you can do. Understand the person, understand their problems, tell stories. I've talked about telling stories. Telling stories are your stories. Gunnar talks about stories a lot. It's about social selling. It's about being social. So I'll give you an example of a story and how stories can blow the doors off it. If you've seen this before, bear with me. I like this slide because it really tells the story of telling stories. That's a bit meta. When Formula One Drive to Survive launched on Netflix in March 2018, it seemed doomed, especially as the show had no access to Mercedes and Ferrari, the main protagonists of the championship chase. This forced producers to focus on the teams fighting for relevancy rather than farther down the grid. Strangely, Americans didn't care much about the main story becoming the B plot. Instead, they swooned. I won't go read the whole thing to you. You can read if you care. But essentially, what happened is Netflix went away from, Ferrari came first. Hamilton did this. It's about the humans, the H to H, the human connection, the story. So what happened? They launched this. I think it's got to be the single most important impact for Formula One in North America. Chief Executive of McLaren Racing, Zach Brown. Almost every comment you hear from someone out of the US is in reference to Drive to Survive. Formula One's first race in 2022 season was ESPN's most viewed since 1995. They didn't have access to the top guys. Have a look now on Netflix. There's a golf one. There are obviously UFC ones. And there's all of these other things were story-based. and everybody's clamoring it for that. You wouldn't believe the access that Drive to Survive now has to the top tier teams simply because they've demonstrated their value. Okay, so let's carry on. Now, build an origin story. What is your origin story? Here it is. This is how you build it. Industry problems you saw. Tell your story. I've gone into meetings selling millions of dollars worth of solutions to companies doing billions of dollars a week in revenue, and started the conversation with a story. The story is how, and I wasn't one of the founders. I walked into that organization. I was on behalf of a client. I walked in and I was the one that told the story. So the founders saw this problem. They were dealing with these issues. They had these things they had to overcome. They were solving the problem like this every single end of month or every single day where they were engaging in this particular way, and it really sucked. I didn't say sucked. And the technology fell short because of this, and this. And then they went through this process and they quit their job and they started consulting and they did this and they did that and they did the other thing. Then they got hired back to the large organization for 10 times the money. And they solved the problem elegantly and beautifully. What a great story. You've got that story right now. I know you've got that story inside you. Use this structure, take this screenshot, use this structure and tell this story. Because that is how you start a sales conversation. You need to get the person in the same story as you, on the same page as you. You need to look at the problem from the same position. Let them know that you're one of them. Let your customers know that you at one stage were one of them. Businesses that are building software solutions that scratch their own itch is often an extremely powerful way to get out there into the market. Okay, let's carry on. You've also got to know their problems, because if you can explain their problem more effectively, with greater levels of articulation, more succinctly than they can. They go, oh, you know, we got problems in warehouse, and warehouse is not talking to procurement. Procurement's not talking to admin, and admins, and it's all on spreadsheets and wooden backed boards and all this sort of carry on. So if you can explain that problem more succinctly because you've solved that problem before, you know their problems, you'll be able to, they will then trust that you can solve their problems better than they can. So here's how we do it. We then build a grid like this. 3 questions to keep your target customer awake at night. Then we figure out how they usually solve it. DIY, in-house, Microsoft Excel, SharePoint, whatever it is, whatever free tools they have. Free tools that cost them way too much because free is not free. It takes them giant amounts of time, to confuses and distracts the business, and everybody's in pain. And now it's a new system they've got to use. But, what's the drawback of choosing an in-house solution? And how you solve that problem without drawbacks. Build that grid. These are the master chef pantry ingredients that go towards your storytelling, goes towards building a relationship with your clients. Because if you can explain, if you can sit on the same side, demonstrate your value, know what they're thinking about. Hey, there's no coincidence that I called this webinar Cracking the ROI Code, because there's not a single conversation I have in sales and marketing where somebody doesn't complain about the marketers putting out social content. There's no ROI on it. I know the problems you're having because I'm solving those problems every single day. So that's why I named it like this. Your relationships. Now think about your relationships. Your relationships. So B2B buyers read 13 pieces of content before they make purchasing decisions. Have you got 13 pieces of content? Because if they don't, they might go, well, does these people even exist? Put stuff up on LinkedIn, send out emails, put out webinars, do the work. It's work. Or pay somebody to do the work, like us. So quality and quantity. Put stuff out, but make it good. Actionable tip. Send an email this week. Send an email this week. What could possibly go wrong? Send an email this week. Don't answer that. Ask a question. The magic 9-word email. I've been sending out this thing called a magic 9-word email for about 15 years since I heard about it from Joe Polish and Dan Jackson, who run the very first marketing podcast called I Love Marketing. Many years ago. I would send out this 9-word email every 4 months, always get deals 100% of the time. Every time. It's got to be used sparingly because it's a bazooka. Message me if you want it. It's like literally, it's an email. It's 9 words long. Or Google the magic 9-word email and you'll find lots of references to it, because since I've been using it, I've been talking about it all the time. There's been articles written about it. And of course, the originators, Dean Jackson and Joe Polish, they've put out plenty of articles about it as well. 9-word email, write one today. Actionable tip. When was the last time you spoke to your customers? Once again, massive ROI. Just call up your top 5 customers, ask them why did they buy from you? What a wild question to ask. Rather than talking about feeds and speeds and this server's doing that, or we're cutting some code over here, or blah, blah, blah. Whatever you do, that's fine. But hey, just how are you going? Just want to ask a question. If you just want to cast your mind back to before you came on board with us, what were the 2 or 3 things that motivated you to come on and to buy from us? That's actually a script. The reason I say it that way is because I want 2 or 3 things. If you ask for the one main thing, I put so much pressure on the conversation. Don't do that. You want 2 or 3 things, because usually you get the real answer by the 3rd or 4th answer they give you. It's like saying, how are you going this morning? Yeah, good, thanks. No thoughts gone into that whatsoever. None. But if you go, how are you going? How, and then you ask a further and follow-up question, you keep going, you keep digging, keep understanding it, but you're going to find out the real. So you want to make sure you're really getting into it. Ask, what are the 2 or 3 reasons you come on board? And also in your sales conversations, what are the 2 or 3 things you're looking to hope to achieve out of this? Oh, more sales, or more of this, or less of that, or some of these ones over here, or less time off. You go, okay, and what else? Oh, and this. Oh, we've got people coming through the gates, and we don't know who they are and what they are, what their competency are. That's fine. And what else? Oh, we want this. Okay, and what else? And now you could possibly building a long future list of upgrades, revisions, new projects you could be running with them. Oh, look, you've given me a long list here. What are the 2? How would you put them in priority? Boom, this one. Now, don't say, yes, I understand why that's a priority, because you're probably leaking $1 million a month. Nix that. You want to say, why is that a priority? Why is that your priority? And they will tell you. The more your customer tells you about their problems, the more likely they are to buy. I want to say that again. The more your customer tells you about their problems, the more likely they are to buy. The more you talk about how brilliant you are, the less likely they are to buy. Pause for dramatic effect. Okay, let's carry on. I want you to then take those stories, those conversations you have from those conversations with your clients, and there's your next blog, there's your next sales call conversation, there's your next story, there's your next social media post. How much does it cost? $0. And you've got blogs, social media posts, stories, and sales calls. $0. Okay, let's carry on. Last one, your offer. Your buyers have choices. Unless you ask them to engage and buy, they won't. People don't just wake up in the morning and go, oh, you know what I need? Some cybersecurity. So they're not doing that. And if they are, happy days, you're on a winner. So, but what you need to do is you need to ask them to engage. So your offer is all about asking them to engage. It's about them. You need to make it easy to buy. If your solution is $1 million, day one can't be $1 million. That product I was talking about before, which is $1 million first year, the first interaction, the first product we sold them was a $30,000 scoping and discovery piece, which we named something else. And that $30,000 scoping and discovery was specifically chosen for the price that we knew that level of person could authorize without creating a whole company-wide sit down and involving everybody turning their key at the same time. Remember, time kills all deals. Figure out how much money your customers can spend, go slightly under that. That's your first offer. Even if your product is $1 million, find something you can sell them, because they need to know, like, and trust you commercially. They know, like, and trust you on social media and in your interactions. You need to create that bridge, a small bridge, demonstrate value, give huge value in that early piece, demonstrate your capability, and I guarantee you'll then find that $1 million sale. It's happened a lot with my customer. Create clear outcomes. That first piece of work. Now your second piece of work, your ongoing consulting, your ongoing rebuild, your ongoing whatever it might be, your ongoing value of your ERP system is fine, is important. But the first piece you do, because if you're trying to sell an ERP for $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 a year, that means the entire business needs to shift. That is a lot. It's too hard. Don't do it. Just think about it. Just think about it in your business. Imagine you coming along and said, oh, we now need to spend a lot of money changing almost everything we do. Ugh, too hard. I'd rather just employ another person at 50 or 60 or 80 grand a year, and they can be the Excel spreadsheet jockey. So you've got to make that first piece work, then maximize the pain that exists for the customer if they don't take the next step. And you can't maximize the pain that the customer's in without being in a commercial relationship. Because if you're in a sales relationship or a pre-revenue relationship, you will not be able to strike to the heart of the issue. Looking at you, Sean. So let's carry on. Make it repeatable. The first piece is a small piece of work that can be done over and over again by lower and lower skilled people. Because then you can get real scale. Here's some ROI offers that we use. Once again, screenshot it, ask for it. Happy to share this with you. Educational webinars. What I'm doing now, highest ROI. I get to coalesce and collate my thinking of the last month or so. I then get to put it out there, demonstrate that I actually know what I'm talking about, answer live questions. It's the highest ROI. And you know what? I had a person phone me, as I talked about earlier. I had a lady phone me who said she can't show up today, which is fine, but she wants to talk to me next week. Didn't even show up to the damn webinar, but she wants to engage our business. I said, so does your business need help with sales and marketing? Oh, yes. Didn't even attend. It's just the activity of event-based marketing. You ramp up, do the event. Now you've got a resource and a content piece and an asset that you can resend to other people. Everybody who registered, not everybody who registered has shown up today. So then you can use that. Once again, Zoom costs $100. Downloadable free e-guides, scalable via ads. Put an advert out, download the 3 keys to achieving X, Y, and Z, measurable ROI. Templates and checklists, scalable via ads, free consultancy strategy session. If you can get somebody on the phone that's the highest ROI, if they're happy to talk to you, then they're more likely than anybody else to buy from you. Simple as that. Interactive quizzes and assessments. We have one. I'll send you the link. It gives you data, it gives you information, but you've got to make sure it's not some thinly veiled sales brochure. And certainly with all the downloadable e-guides and checklists, and all that cannot be a thinly veiled sales pitch. That breaks trust. You've got to give value. You've actually got to demonstrate value. You've got to give people, if they take that away and put it in action, like this webinar, if you take this webinar away, put this stuff in action, you don't need me. So then that's what you've got. That's the highest ROI thing. You're spending extra effort and time and energy doing that. Discounts and products and services. Some of you might be able to encourage customers to buy before Christmas by giving them a discount. Invitations to private community and forums, and curated newsletters with exclusive content. That's an incredibly high ROI. The next thing I know you're going to hate, I'm going to tell you anyway, because it's true. The highest thing you can do is write a sales script. Oh, but Matt, I don't like reading sales scripts. I seem wooden and under practiced, and there's no emotion and all this sort of stuff. That's cool. You just suck at doing scripts. Simple as that. You got to practice. All those stars who have got way more money than you, that I mentioned before, The Rock and all those guys, they've all got scripts. Do you think they go, oh, Brad goes, I want to be an individual, Quentin. Yeah, I know I'll probably make $50 million from this film, but I don't want to follow the script. What does Quentin do? It says, follow the script word for word, comma, by line. Get better at running scripts. You want practice? Talk to your friends. I've literally sat over the dinner table with my wife saying, here are your lines, here are mine. If you don't have a script, you're doing your customers a disservice because you can't possibly be your best every single time. Fact. I've been selling since I was 17. Every single sales call I do, I've got a script on that screen. Now, it's not like the word for word. I'm not Brad Pitt. I can't learn a thing word for word. I need structure. I need questions. I need methodology and framework. And that's what I'm talking about. So you want to build a script, not this guy's script. You don't want to be a scammer. You don't want to be a pushy. You don't want to ram it home. So as I said, I've got a few things to give away. So grab my sales script template. I'll send you my sales script template. Send me a message, send me an email, DM, whatever it is. Let me know, and I will send it to you. It's a structure. You follow it, you make sales. If you don't, you will just find that you just won't get those extra deals. You might be closing quite a few deals because you're getting referrals. They're already pre-warmed. As soon as you start going out to a wider market, you need to get better and better at selling. And by getting better and better at selling, you're going to make more and more money. The real value lives in the extended network, not in, yes, your existing network, but your extended network. Your network is your net worth. You've got to keep building that out. The further people are away from you, the less they're going to know about you, the better you've got to be. So 4 keys: test and measure. The other thing is marketing. Got to work through marketing. Actionable tip: A/B testing, but A/B testing properly. What is A/B testing? Don't put up 2 completely different pages. Remember I mentioned earlier that we changed a word in our Google ad and massively increased our earnings and reducing our cost of advertising because we changed one word at a time, one audience at a time. Sell one thing to one group, then sell another thing to another group. Variations. Okay, we're coming up on the 45-minute mark. Actually, we're just tipped over it. I'm going to give you a quick summary. Quick summary is your target market. We need to know who our best fit clients are. Find them on LinkedIn. Circle influence. Email's the king. The more people that know you, the more sales you'll make. Full stop. Your relationship: be known, liked, and trusted. People consume 13 pieces of content before they buy from you. So social selling is absolutely paramount. And your offer: you've got to ask people to buy. And I just showed you a grid of all the offers. And you know what? Of all the offers, we do all of them. Let's go back to our company, little company, 6 people. We do all of these. Now, I'm not expecting you to do all of these. Talk to me. We'll do one, probably webinars and maybe downloadable guides. All right. Are there any questions? This is the time for you to jump in, ask me specific questions. Let me know what you've got there. Yes, so Gunnar was saying, so he's the expert in this space. He say quantity or quality. That's the wrong question many people ask. We need a quantity of quality. So that's great, absolutely. We need quality and quantity of messages that are going out there that sit within your brand. Spot on there, Gunnar. You're the expert. I mean, don't need to tell you that, but I'm going to tell you for everybody else here. I want you to think about your quality. By the way, Matthew, I don't have time to create content. Fine. Go into your sent items. In your sent items, find customers, find some customers, find the questions they've asked, go to customer service, go to development, find the questions that are asked that have been answered. That is a rich vein of content because you've already answered the damn thing. You've already answered it. Oh, well, we have a methodology of doing this, 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 and this, and we use Azure, or we use Azure because it has this framework and and 27001. Boom. Why industry experts use, the 3 keys to security and making sure your Azure network is up to scratch. Download our free guide. Boom. You've answered the questions. You know your subject. Fill in the blanks. And look, I'm not a security expert. James is probably going to get up me now for saying that, but I want you to understand that. And also, why does Azure keep winning? Is a great question, and probably the answer is because it's grandfathered in because people have got Outlook and they got Office 365. Anyway, so are there any other questions, everybody? I want to be respectful of your time. I said we're going to go for 45 minutes to an hour. We're coming up close to it. Are there any other questions? Thank you, Murray. Good presentation. Looking for our first customers. Hey, Murray, give me a call. I'm more than happy to go through a conversation. If you're looking for your first customer, there's a couple of ways we can do that, and I won't charge you for that conversation. I just want to, if you're by the way, if you're here and you are trying to get your first or second customer, let's have a conversation. I'll just give you some free consulting. I've been in the States. I've had 7 startups that I've owned and run, and I've made some big wins. I've also made some not big wins. So there's some lessons that I can probably teach you. So grab a call. Actually, there's an offer at the end. What do we got here? Oh yeah, great. See you then, Murray. All right. So if you don't ask, you don't get. Last chance of questions for anybody. Anyway, we'll carry on. So bonus number 2. Number 1 was the script. Number 2 is this. How do you score across the 4 impact areas? You've hopefully you've been convinced that these 4 impact areas are important, and now you need to figure out whether or not how you fit with those. Murray, this would be really good for you to do. I want you to go to scorecard.techtalk.co, go through that. So you'll only be sharing your name and your email address. At the end of that, we've built a system sitting in behind it that will allow you to download an exact plan of where gaps you've got and what you got to do about it. So that's free. Go and do that, please. I've just seen so many people grab that and get super value out of it. Sorry, I've missed a couple of questions here. I didn't scroll down. Any suggestions on setting prices? Well, that's a great question. I love that. That's probably a longer conversation, Chris. I'd need to ask you a few questions. I understand the industry averages. Somebody's got to be, so I like saying things like somebody's got to be the most expensive. If you're competing on price, it's a race to the bottom. There's entire continents of people competing against you. If price is your main selling point, and they're talented and they're coming up fast, so you need to take a different position. I think better, faster, cheaper is you're really at risk there. So Chris, book a call. I'll definitely have a conversation with you. I know my customer name and company. He's not active on LinkedIn. How to engage? Send him an email, call him. So there is, I know that sounds really obvious. I've been interacting with a few adverts at the moment on Instagram and TikTok as well. I've just been made to download TikTok by the marketing manager, so I won't be doing any dances. I promise that. It's not public ones anyway. You need to meet so I'm getting a lot of adverts. So I'm trying to get my brain back on track. I'm getting a lot of adverts for people who are trying to provide outreach services, only pay for success, all these sort of things. And how are they doing that? Are they doing cold outreach, cold email, cold DMs? Cold still works. I know none of us like doing cold calls. Nobody likes doing cold calls. Nobody wants to belly up to the bar for a big slice of rejection pie and making 1,000 phone calls. Nobody wants to do that. But it's still successful. So the only way to get more people to know you, and if you don't have any money, the highest ROI thing to do is pick up your phone and make a phone call. And the conversation would be, for you, Nikhil, would be something along the lines of, hi, we've worked with X, Y, and Z to help them achieve A, B, and C. Fill the blanks in. I try to talk in broad terms for you so you can fill your own blanks in. We help X, Y, and Z to do A, B, and C. Would you mind if I send you our free guide about that? Or, I got a telemarketing call just the other day. I wasn't in the market, but it was beautifully worded along those lines. And all they were trying to do is get my email address to send me some info. Actually, they already had my email address. Can I send it to Matthew at matthew.whyatt@techtalk.com.au? Can I do that? And they went, and I said, oh, look, no, thank you, but I appreciate it. Good call. Okay. You just got to build a bit of thick skin. But the DMing, I know people who have made their first 10 sales finding the person on socials and DMing them on Instagram. So do that. Hopefully that helps. Go to the scorecard, grab that. Are there any more? Oh, yeah. So, hi, Matthew. Thanks for this webinar. I'm going to go the next few days. Thanks, Jim. Everyone's for the power of a letter or a phone call. Yeah. Oh, Sean's just reminded me about letter. I won't get it out. I used to send out letters. I used to post people letters with a little stress ball inside the envelope, and I would call up and say, hi, it's Matthew here from Tech Talk. Actually, at the time, I was just Matthew. It was just my personal consulting course, so it's called Sales Results. Hi, it's Matthew. Can I speak to Joanne? And this is the head of Oracle in Brisbane. I'm not sure if her name's Joanne, but you get the point. And, who is it? Because every person who answers the phone is going to say, go away. And I said, it's Matthew. Tell her I'm the one that sent the stress ball. Oh, that's sitting on a desk right now. I'll put you through. I got through the top of Oracle just by actually being a little bit different. Yes, people send emails. Well, you know what? I'm going to send a letter in a bright red envelope. If you want to know about doing that, I'm your man. I've made a lot of money and a lot of sales off direct mail. And I'm talking 100 years ago. I'm talking 5 years ago. So it still exists. Bonus 2, grab this, please. And of course, the last one, and I've invited already a few people to have a conversation. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Nikhil. I appreciate it. This is an offer for everybody, really. If you have found value in this conversation, what I'd love to do is get in deep, have a conversation with you, go through the 2 or 3 areas that are blocking you from success. If you become a customer, great. If you just get massive value from the conversation, fantastic. My job is what I do is I give away all my best ideas. I charge for implementation. If you can implement it, happy days. Thank you, everybody. We're almost at that hour mark. If you've got any thoughts, comments, questions, kind things to say on LinkedIn, find that recommendation box, say those nice things in there. Obviously, send me an email. You know my email address. I've been sending you enough of them. Ask to be booked in for a call. Thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. And you know what? Here's to your success. Thanks very much. Bye for now.